Hi, good morning. It's nice and rainy outside where we are here. So I thought we'd get on with this little clown to perhaps cheer you up. That depends on whether you like clowns. Obviously, if you're a little bit scared of clowns, this might not be the video for you, but I do think he's quite cute. I don't think you can really be frightened of a little face like that. Now, this is, as you may have guessed, one of my Ferrero Rocher covers. The reason I've got this second one out is because this one's getting somewhat crushed because it's the one I used to actually practice on to get the shapes and everything. So here he is. Now, Halloween, Christmas, birthday, tree, I don't know what he would be. If you're frightened of clowns, I would say he's going to be Halloween. And perhaps if you are making him from Halloween, maybe sort of, I don't know, you could frighten him up a little bit facially, but I think that face is too cute for Halloween. But it's entirely up to you, of course. But I say, love them or hate them, it has come out quite nice and I'm really pleased with him. So we have our double knit yarn here. Again, colour choice can be yours. On average, clowns have these powdered sort of faces, so that's why I've gone for the white. But you can mix and match the other colours. As far as the little pom-poms are concerned, it's these. Now, these are really cheap. They are from our pound shop over here. I don't know what equivalent you will have wherever you are, but this is the pound shop. And they're usually in the children's sort of creative section, the arts and crafts for children. And obviously, they're £1. Or they could be cheaper depending on where you get them from. I think our supermarkets had some in actually as well. So it's worth having a look round. They're a great thing to have in because they're really handy to sort of add sort of detail to items that you make. Now, these are stitched on, but if you don't like stitching, of course, you could glue them on. I just like to stitch things on to make sure they're nice and firm there. Obviously, I have some scissors, I have my needle, stitch marker, and of course, you need to know what size hook we have here. And I have, if you can see that, a 3.5mm. Please remember UK terms here, so don't be sort of worried if you hear the term double crochet and to you that's a different type of stitch. Here in the UK, a double crochet is equivalent to a single crochet in a lot of other places, so you may need a conversion chart, so have a little look out for that and just remember that it is a UK term. Now, as far as this is concerned, I have done it in 2 pieces. First of all, I thought, oh, perhaps I could do it all in one, but I've got a little bit of stuffing. It's something I haven't got out, actually. I have a little bit of stuffing in his hat. So that is why that is a separate component to that. So we're going to start with the little face. So you've got little bead eyes. You could embroider eyes on. It's up to you how you decorate him up. But this is just sort of the basic template for your clown. So we're going to start here with this one. So we're going to move those 2 out of the way and we're going to pull this one in. And let me get going. Got to find the end of the yarn. It's there. I know I mentioned on my last video, I disappeared for a week or so there. My daughter got married on Sunday, and as you can imagine, it was chaos to the build-up, and then it was exhaustion after it. So I'm just trying to catch up desperately. And I do have DollyCon coming up, which is where I have a store for all my crochet doll items. I'm really excited about that because I'm an attendee as well, so I get to sort of join in with everything else. It's so exciting. So here we go. Slip knot time. Onto the hook, not too tight. It's done in an amigurumi style. You're going to recognize this. It is very similar to any of my other amigurumi I work with. So here we go. I start with 2 chain. I know some of you do start differently, but I find the 2 chain method is one of the easiest systems to work. And into that first one, I'm going to do 6 double crochets. Remember, UK double crochet. So that was 1, and that is 2, 3. Oh, look at that. See what happened there? The stitch went over. So I'm going to take it back out. So that was 3. It was definitely 3. So I'm going to do number 4 again. In, pull it through, and pull it through. So that was number 4. Number 5. And number 6. So we should now have 6 double crochets. I will double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That first one's always a little tricky to see, but that is the one we need to go in next. And we're going to do 2 double crochets into each of those 6. So always a bit awkward, that one. And 2 double crochets. So we have 1, and we have 2. And then 2 in each of the remaining 5. So we have a 1, 2 in number 2, 1, 2 in number 3, 2 in number 4, number 5, and 2 in our last one, and number 6. So we now have 12 stitches. I'm just going to pull this yarn here to tighten up that middle section, make sure it is really nice and tight. You don't want a hole there, although his hat in this case will hide that, so it's not going to be the end of the world. Right, we now need a little bit more of an increase, because in fact I'll take this ferrero Rocher, because this is, look, poor battered one here. Now the other thing with these covers is they do actually stand quite nicely on their own, so you don't have to have the chocolate in, or if they're going on a tree you can pop a little bit of ribbon. Oh, I don't know what it is. Is it pulleys going past? That might be making a bit of a noise there. Or you could add a ribbon to it, or a little bit of wool to hang it on the tree, because they do stand quite solid, so which is quite good there. But as you say, this is quite battered. It just looks like a lump of rock at the moment. There is a chocolate in there somewhere. But as you can see, that's certainly not going to be big enough for that. So we need one more increase. And that increase is going to be 2 double crochets in the first one, and then 1, 1. And you're going to repeat that. So we'll do that nice and steadily. So this one's, the first one's going to have 2 double crochets, and then the next 2 are just going to have 1. So we have a 1 and we have a 1. That is our first set. You're going to do that combination 4 times. So this is our second set. So we have 2 in the first one, and then we have a 1, and we have a 1. That was our second set completed. Set 3. We have 2. We have 1. And we have 1. Last set. We have a 2. We have a 1. And we have a 1. So now you can see it is likely to fit. You need to check your tension. I don't think you would need to alter it much, because that's only a couple of rows, so I think we would be safe on that. We're now going to do just double crochet rounds. Now I'm just quickly scanning my desk. My desk is a mess, as I just mentioned to the other video, because I am preparing for DollyCon. There's stuff everywhere. It's absolute chaos. I'm trying to find a pen or a pencil. Pencil will have to do, because we are going to be doing 7 rounds. Now that is where you're going to have to check your tension, because you might find you only need 6, you might find you need 8, but you can just keep trying it on your chocolate at that point. Little stitch marker makes it easier because I'm chattering. Obviously you only have 16 stitches to count, so you might prefer to count and mark off and do it that way, but because obviously I'm chattering, I'm going to put the stitch marker in. So we need 16 stitches for each round, all double crochets, and we're going to have 7 of those rounds. So off we go. Yeah, I'm playing massive catch up at the moment. I'm slowly but surely getting there. I think perhaps as much as I'm so excited about going to DollyCon, and I absolutely love it. This is my 3rd year going. Obviously we didn't have any during COVID, so hopefully, although I've got to do a COVID test, a lateral flow test before I go to prove that I'm okay, and as much as I know I'm okay because there's nothing wrong with me, I'm still terrified the results are going to come through positive. So as I mentioned, I have a stall, as well as sort of going to the activities and doing a bit of shopping in there as well. So I'm really fingers crossed. I would be really surprised if it was positive, because they say I'm not poorly or anything, but you never know. You do have to be careful. So we're now on our second round, and because I've got a stitch marker, I don't have to think about counting. You may decide you want to just pause me and get your 7 rounds done here and come back to me. I would recommend you check about 5 or 6 though, to see whether it's fitting your chocolate, because you may have chosen a different chocolate. There aren't any, I think, that's the exact size. I know a few people have recommended certain chocolates, and there are some that are circular like this, but I think some are a little bit smaller, so you do need to check your sizes as you go along. Right, so that's our second round. So you can see it's already starting to dome up to make sort of the little face here. So round again, and I need to move my stitch marker up next time. Always move your stitch marker maybe every 2, 3, If you're used to it, you might get away with a little bit more than that, but it does make a very tiny difference. Not something that you would really see on something you're making this size, but if you were making something larger, moving that stitch marker is so important to make sure, especially if you're not counting your stitches and you're only just going, like I am, stitch marker to stitch marker. There we go, and that is, oh, that one was a bit tight. That is round 3, and I'm going to move my stitch marker up. I know people are starting to do the chocolate covers because obviously I know sort of the sales and my patterns have increased on that as well, and obviously people are watching the videos more, so we can see people are preparing for Christmas. Round we go again, or like I say, you could argue Halloween. The aim was to do some more Halloween things, but I have seriously run out of time, I think, because unless I get it out this week, you guys are not going to have enough time to complete. I mean, things like this, literally, you know, they're quick. They're very quick to do. And I think that's why they're popular for people when they're doing them for like church fetes or school fairs or for charities, things like that. They're a nice quick thing to actually make there. So we're over halfway. See, we've got a little shape there. I'll pop it on now. I mean, it's not big enough yet. I know that because I've only done 4 rounds. Sometimes you might need to give it a little stretch if your crochet is a little bit tight, but you want it to be quite tight because as it being yarn, it will stretch a little bit over time. So you can see we're about halfway, and we are about halfway, so that's okay. Let's pop it back on the hook there. So this is round 5 that we're going for now. And off we go. If you do make one of these, sort of send me a message if you're on Instagram or something like that. So let's have a look at your pictures, or please comment below. It does nice. It does. I was going to say it does nice. That doesn't make sense. It is nice when people put comments, and hopefully I can comment back. And if you've got any suggestions as well, I'm always open to suggestions. Although again, I'm on massive catch up at the moment, so apologies if I'm behind on any of those. So that was round 5 marked off, and put a little bit of yarn out again. Round 6. But yeah, it's always nice to hear what other people might like, because sometimes you do get sort of a block when you're trying to think of what to make. I seem to be on a bit of a roll at the minute. My brain doesn't seem to be stopping, but you know, it's good to get other ideas. Even if it's not something I can sort of create for you, I sort of may be able to make something else from that idea. So it's nice. Please make a comment. I love to hear your comments. Right, that was round 6. So I've got, for my attention, 1 more round. But it would be a good idea to check. So we'll squeeze our little battered Ferrero Rocher in there. Yep, so for me, I'm about there. So I am going to do that 7 rounds. If you're very tight, you may need a couple more, maybe probably only 1 more to be honest. But if you're a little bit loose, you might say, that's it, 6 is fine for me. Just make sure your chocolate doesn't fall out. That's the only thing with that, especially if you're hanging it on a tree or something. If it's sitting on the side, of course, that doesn't matter. But if you are hanging these as decorations at any point, they do need to be tight to make sure the chocolate does not fall out. So I'm on my last round, and then we've done his face. It's done. Now that was nice and quick. Just having a quick look on my camera, see the time. I don't over worry about the time nowadays, but yeah, it's 14-ish minutes it's saying. And remember, some of that was just me chattering at you. So I think that's maybe, what, a 10-minute job to do the face? And the thing is, if you're doing lots, by the time you get to your 3rd and your 4th, you'll be speeding along. So I'm going to say that's it. My last stitch is always going to be a slip stitch because I just think it neatens it down rather than the stitch sticking out. So, oh, nearly dropped it. It's back on the hook. Back on the hook. Where are you? Oh, my stomach's rumbling now just to join in with the noises. and let's take my stitch marker out. So that is our little Ferrero Rocher clown face. So you will need to sew your ends in, of course. I'm just pushing them in there for now, and I'm going to pull it over our chocolate. Little hat for the chocolate. Yep, I'm happy with that. So that is our clown's face. So we're going to put him to one side, and we're going to change our colours, and we're going to move on to our red. I've chosen red. You could do green, blue, pink, whatever you want to do. But I've just gone for the red one here. Let's undo this a little bit before it catches. And the hat is almost as simple, to be perfectly honest, but obviously it's getting this nice cone shape, which if you miss stitches and things like that, it doesn't happen. So it is important to keep an eye on your stitches for this one. So we have our slip knot on our hook, and I'm going to start exactly the same as I did with the other one. So 1 and 2, and then into the first one here, I'm going to do the 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now the next one's always a little bit awkward because we're only going to do 1 double crochet into each of them, and it sort of folds in on itself, which is a little bit annoying. So I'm going to tighten this up now, and we're going to do 1 double crochet in each one because we need a point there, so we can't double up just yet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Can you see it just curls up, which is very annoying. So I usually find the easiest way when it's curled up like that is push it back out, because I don't want to be working on the inside in it because it makes it very hard. So you just got a little funny little sort of bobble at the moment. So we're going to start our first increase, and it's going to be 2 in our first one and then 1 in the one after, and you're going to do that combination 3 times. So we're going to end up with 9 stitches. So into our first one we're going to have 2 double crochets. Into our second one we're going to have 1 double crochet. So that's our first set. We're going to do it again. 2 in this one and 1 in the next one. So we've got 2 sets now. This is our third set. 2 in the first one and 1 in the second one. So you can see we've got sort of like a bit of a little point going off there. So we should have 9 stitches now, hopefully, and we're going to now do 1 round of just double crochets. 9 double crochets, that's all we want. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, nearly split it. Make sure you're getting both bits. 8 and 9. So we now have 9 stitches. We're going to increase again, and this time we're going to do 2 in one and then 1 in the next 2, and that's times 3. So here we go. So we're going to have 2 in the first one, 1 in each of the next 2, 1 and 2. So that's our first set. Our second set is 2 in this first one, 1 in the second one and 1 in the next one. So we've got 2. I didn't really word that very well, did I? But you know what I mean. 2 in the first one and then 1 in each of the next 2. Last set. 2 in that first one, and then we have a 1, and then we have a 1. So now hopefully we have 12 stitches, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of those 12. So here we go. 1, no point using stitch marker at this point. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So here we go. We've got another increase still. We now need, because obviously that's not big enough. It'd make a very cute little hat, but it would be way too small for him. So we're going to do another one very similar. 2 in the first one, and then 1, 2, 3 singles. Got to stop using the word single because obviously then you guys think I'm meaning a different stitch. When I said single then I meant individual stitches. So here we go, 2 in this first one, and then a 1, a 1, and a 1. That is our first set. Second set, 2 in the first one, then a 1, a 1, and a 1. Last set coming up, we have a 2 in the first one and 3 individuals, 1, 2, and 3. So you can see the hat shape come in. That gives us 15 stitches. So we need 1 round. So each time we've done sort of an increase row, we have a sort of a plain double crochet round. So 15 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're nearly there, 13, 14, and 15. Now if I'm going a little bit too fast at any point, don't forget you can actually alter me in the settings. You can slow me down, or you can just pause me, do your round, and then come back to what I'm doing. We have our final increase round, which is going to take us up to 18 stitches, and again it's going to follow the same sort of patterning. We're going to have 2, but then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 individuals, yeah, and we're going to do that times 3. So we have 2 in our first one, then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, into the next one, a 2, a 1, a 2, 3, and 4. We're going to have our last increase, so 2 in the first one, and then 4 individuals, 1, 2, 3, a bit tangled there, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. So we now have 18 stitches, and we're going to now do just 1 double crochet into each of those 18. So we are going to count them rather than stitch mark them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. A bit more to go yet. 13, 14. Oh, the light's gone really dark. That's weird. I'm just looking down then. 14, 15. I've got a lamp over it, so it shouldn't be. 15, 16, 17, and 18, and I finish off with my slip stitch. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of yarn here before I cut it off, because I'm going to use this to sew it onto his head, so I need a little bit. So I don't know why the light's gone funny. That's really annoying. I do hope that you can still see everything clear enough. I think you can. It's just gone dark. Perhaps it was already dark, I don't know. I've not been looking at the camera for a bit though. Right, so fastened off. I usually give my stuff a little stretch to make sure it's into the shape that I want it to be. So we can get rid of the red now, and we're going to bring his little head in, because I like to sew on the heads or the bodies or whatever I'm working at while the chocolate's in it, because it gives the shape a little bit better. Now I do need a bit of stuffing, and as much as I hadn't got some out, I've got some in a basket in front of me, which is for something else, but it won't hurt. So it's just a little bit of toy stuffing. You can just use your yarn if you want, because what I'm going to do with this piece of yarn is push it inside. So you can use yarn if you want. And I'm just going to put a little bit, I'm not going to fully stuff it at this point, just a little bit of stuffing in, just to shape it. And then I'll have a look how it's going to sit on his head. Yes, I'm quite pleased with that. Now, don't worry if it looks like it's sitting up a bit, because as you stitch it on, it sort of pulls it down, if you know what I mean. Decide sort of which round you're going to be going on. I think sort of around here, and that does help. So let's find a needle. Now, for some reason, I've put my other needles somewhere. I know where they are really, just that I can't find them. because they will be in with the doll stuff that I'm making at the moment, so without rummaging too much, but that one will do. I quite like a sort of fine needle. It's a little bit difficult to thread, but it's easier to stitch with because it will actually go into the stitching easier. So let's grab this extra long piece that I left. Probably I've left it too long, but it does sort of help sew on rather than getting another piece of yarn. Now if you look for where you finished off, which is here, I'm going to say that is the back, and I'm going to line that up with that, and that's where I'm going to start stitching. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the white. That's an initial holding it in place, and then I'm going to pick up the outer bit and into the next bit. Take your time on this, it does matter when it's being sewn on. I know when I'm doing the videos I'm rushing a little bit, but you take your time and then get it really neat over the sort of the item that you're joining to. So I'm just picking up the outer bit on this one. Every now and again check that you're not sort of pulling it in the wrong direction. That's easily done as well. I mean, this is very similar to the little gnome that I did. So if you've already done the gnome Ferrero Rocher cover, you will be able to, you'll not even need to watch me do this, you can just sew it up yourselves. I'll pop a link on to the other Ferrero Rocher covers as well, so you can have a little look if you've not done one before, and maybe pick another one to do. I do need to get the pattern on for this little guy onto my page, and I also need to get the sprout on because somebody has asked me for the sprout pattern. As much as I've done the video, I haven't actually put the pattern up. I'm very naughty for getting my patterns up late, so I do need to sort of sit down and spend a bit of time on that computer. I need about 6 different arms at the moment to get everything done. We're almost round. Yeah, the colour looks very weird on the camera. I mean, I must admit, as I mentioned, it's a rainy day out there. It's very grey, so it's really not helping, even though I have got a light on us while we're actually doing this. Nearly round. Ta-da! Last stitch. Make sure I'll try and keep it nice and flat when we're finishing off. Nice and tight there. And then I'm going to, because this bit's stuffed, this will help as well. I'm just going to thread this yarn through a few times until I know that nothing's going to come undone. I'm quite happy with that. Ta-da! Oh dear, master, I did rumble then. I'm sure you must have heard that one. I won't wait when I play it back, I'll have a look. So we can see we have the clown's basic structure there. So you can see, bring him in, we've got exactly the same there. Now, as far as the hair was concerned, again, you can go for your own colour, your own style. I just sort of snipped off a few strands of this orange. Now, I'm just double checking how many I did. I think I did only 2. Sometimes it's hard to get them through. So if I just take 2 of those for each side, so maybe another 2. Depends on how thick you want his hair. You could go all the way around, which would be quite fun. I just did the little bits on the side, but I'll just show you roughly what I did. So I took a little sort of strand of yarn, and I'll put my needle down now, haven't I? Which one? That one. Looped it over, pushed it through, decided where the hair is going to go, which is our front, which is our back. I'm going to go here, and I just thread it through, take the needle off, pull the hair through, and there you go. You've got a little strand of hair. If you can actually do it, I'll see if I can do it myself. If it'll let you do it twice, 2 lots together, it does look neater, but it's just sometimes hard. Depends on the needle, because I don't think, for example, this needle, let's have a fight. Should we have a fight with it? Oh, look at that. It's making me out to be a liar now. Normally it's really difficult to thread them through, so I'm going to go with the 2. I go from front to back because that's where it positions the knot for me. Must have my stuff. Oh dear, I think after I've done this, I mean, we are nearly at dinner time and I've not actually had time for breakfast yet, so I really do need to get something. So I'm just pulling that tight and then deciding on the length, maybe there. Okay, now the other thing I did, I will move them to one side, we don't have to do that. I then separated these up, which you've seen me do on other videos, but apart from the fact it gives them like a fluffier hair effect, it stops it coming undone on that knot so much as well. So I'm just threading them through, well, not threading them through, I'm threading the needle through the individual strands and separating them. And then when you've done that, you can then decide whether you want to alter the length, and when you've put the other one on, make sure it's even. But yeah, it would look quite cool if you went all the way around the back, and maybe perhaps I should have been a little bit higher there. Now, as far as the detailing is concerned, as I say, I use these pom-poms. So when you buy a pack of them, you get dozens, and you get all these different sizes as well. I've just managed to get a small pack from our pound shop, which is just white ones, which is brilliant. They are just literally little foam balls, and you can actually get a needle through them. If you don't, I don't want to stitch them on, don't. But when you do it, be careful. If you catch it like that, it's not going to stitch on, yeah? So if you catch in little bits, they're not going to stitch on. You do need to go through quite a way when you are sewing these on, and make sure that then they are nice and firm. I just used a white cotton for all of these because it was easy to do. So I did the first one, and obviously his face is white, and then I just threaded through to the next one, to the next one, and to the one on the top. You can add as much or as little, or however you want to design that. Obviously I'm not here to tell you how you would like your items. I'm here to give you ideas and hopefully sort of set you off on your own sort of design venture there. Now the little eyes are actually, oh, now we've all gone really dizzy because I knocked the camera flying. Are we back? We are back. Keep still. I've got a new sort of hanging thing for the camera, which is good. Well, it's my phone I'm filming on, which is great, but one slight problem, it's very bouncy. So if I catch it, it goes flying. Now these beads, if I can get them to come out, there you go. Those are what I've used for the eyes. Now, if this is going to be going to a child, you might prefer to stitch the eye detail on, and definitely make sure these are really secure. I wouldn't recommend that they are for young children, apart from the fact if you're putting a ferrero Rocher in there, they're not suitable for young children either. I know my granddaughter's 6 going on 7 now, and she decided she really likes them, which is fair enough, but I don't give them to my grandson, who is just turned 3. But I still think because of the nuts, and obviously you've got to be careful where nuts are concerned as well, if there's any allergies about. So I don't recommend this for a younger child. So you probably will get away with little beads or little buttons. I must admit, I couldn't find my beads earlier. So I know I've mentioned it before, but absolute chaos in here at the moment. I have got some tiny black buttons, and I was very tempted to put the buttons on. If you wanted to put like that sort of spooky element, sometimes button eyes can be a little bit frightening as well. So you could do him for Halloween. But apart from that, that is it. He's a nice, quick, easy make. A little bit of fun. Love them or hate them, fair enough. But if you do have somebody who does love clowns or collects clowns, it's a massive industry. So I do know there's a lot of people out there that do. This would be a great little gift for them at Christmas, or if you're just wanting to sort of use it for Halloween, that is also your prerogative. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed him. I have got some doll crochet hopefully coming up. This is all going to depend on what I get done for DollyCon. Because as I say, at the moment it is an absolute nightmare in here. In fact, as I did with my last video, I'm just pulling a few bits because I've pushed things back to make my desk look tidy. It is not. This is part of my desk at the moment, so I am going to move the camera now deliberately. As you can see, it is absolute chaos, and my whole room at the moment looks like this. I just had to clear a space so I could do the video, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I absolutely love making the doll stuff, so it's great for me as well. So thank you for watching. If you do enjoy my videos, please like, subscribe and share. I need to get more Christmas items out, which are going to be coming up. I've got the ideas in my head. It's just getting them down on video, and I hope to see you all very soon. Please like, subscribe, etc., etc., and pop me a comment in below, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.